We have this Dodge Caravan with some automatic door issues. We're gonna check it out, diagnose it, see what's wrong. So this automatic door, the second you pull on this handle, it should just open up, and it's not. It's getting stuck. You can do it manually, open it all the way. And when you do that, it should close, and it's not closing. You can, if you move it a little bit, it closes. And then it doesn't close all the way here either. The other side works fine. There's nothing wrong with the other side, but there we go. Now the other thing, if you use the key or even the overhead button to open this door, so we push this twice, it won't unlatch this. It tries to, but it's not able to do it. And this is how it's supposed to work. Opens up nice, doesn't stop, and it closes fine too. The easiest way to diagnose this door problem is with a scan tool that can read multiple modules. Fortunately, we have one, so if I go into the door module left rear and read fault codes, I have multiple fault codes. Most of them are pertaining to the latch. So it looks like we have a bad door latch. Unfortunately, not everyone has a scan tool like that. So another common problem with these doors is the door harness. A lot of these vehicles have wiring harness problems. There's wires that go in between this conduit right here. And a lot of times, because they're moving so much, they break internally. So we're gonna pull that wiring harness out and take a look at it. Before I disconnect the battery, I just wanna make sure the seat is all the way forward. Disconnect the negative terminal, use a 10mm wrench. Oh, this terminal's loose anyway. And slide it off. Slide that out of the way. We're gonna take this piece of trim off right here, use a trim tool. Get underneath the back side of this. And then it's gonna slide forward. Just be careful. So it's got these clips and these trim clips. And then this whole piece slides forward. So when it's back like that, it's gonna slide forward from that. I'll just use a pocket screwdriver, pull this cover off. Take this nut off, use a 11mm socket. And pull this piece of trim off. Just use a trim tool, get underneath there, slide up. Just slide this piece out of the way. All right, we just need to pull this pillar out of the way. Just get behind there. You don't necessarily have to disconnect this all the way if you don't want to. Disconnect the connector, just push down on the button. But if you wanted to just slide this out of the way a little bit, you can. You just need to access this connector right here. Yeah, let's disconnect this connector right here. There's a little lock tab right there. Just use a straight blade screwdriver and then push down on the lock tab, disconnect it. I'm just gonna pull this weather strip out of my way so I can see what's going on. And just set that aside. And the wire's attached right here. Just use a trim tool and just slide behind there. Try to be careful not to break this. Just pull it out. There's some more underneath here. And there's one right here. There we go. So that tool worked. This is actually a homemade tool. Sometimes you get one of these, just bend it out a little bit so you have a little more leverage or a little more angle. We want to disconnect this connector right here. Just push down on the tab, slide it out. All right, so this is connected right here. There's a little lock on it. Just slide that lock out. and then get underneath here and just pry it off. Comes off like that, pretty easy. And then just slide the harness out of there. And then there's 2 more retainers that hold it into this bracket. Slide that out. And then there's another one back here. It might be hard to see. Just like that. Now underneath here there's a connector. There's a lock right here. Slide the lock up. Just like that. Then you can disconnect the connector, push down on the tab. Slide it out. And there's another retainer right there holding it on. Without breaking it. Then you can slide the harness all the way out. So I want to access these wires in here, and I'm just pulling these covers up. Just use a pocket screwdriver. Just get underneath here, just carefully pry it up. Just be careful, you don't want to break any of these or it's going to need to be completely replaced. Now I'll just pull these wires out. All right, now we'll just carefully look at these wires, see what we can see. Just looking for a break in the wire right now. And you don't really see anything. It could be broken on the inside. We're gonna use a multimeter to check for ohms and continuity. What you're gonna wanna do is select the ohm setting on the meter. All meters are a little bit different, but they should still have this setting. And this one, you want to just check the meter, make sure you put the terminals together. It zeroes out or very close to 0. And this meter, I actually can make it be audible. So when I touch these together, it makes a noise, which is nice. So we'll find, these are the 2 connectors, find the purple wire, the 3rd one in, and then go to the other side. Find the purple wire over here. When I touch it, I get an audible noise, and it's reading good. Then you can manipulate the harness while it's doing that. If you don't like the noise, you can turn that off and just view the meter. If it just moves a little bit like that, that's not a big deal. But if you see it jump, if the meter went to that, oh well, then you know there's probably a break while you're manipulating it. So that's a good way to check it. This isn't the best test for testing a wire. What would be a little bit better would just be if you took a battery and put battery positive on one side and then put a test light on the other side and then manipulate the harness and see if you can get the test light to go out. Do that per each wire. That would be a little more accurate than just the meter. We know our harness is good, so we're going to reinstall it. To replace the door latch that's located right there, it's actually pretty involved. What you need to do is take the window out. To get the window out, you're going to have to take these trim pieces out and this molding. A lot of times this breaks, so you're probably going to need to replace that as well. Then when you're on the inside, you're going to have to take obviously the door panel off, and then this whole piece right here has to come off. This is the door module right there, and that wiring harness goes to the door latch itself. More common is the door latch. There could always be a wiring connection or even a module problem, but most likely it's the door latch. So it's going to be a little while before we actually get a latch to fix this. In the meantime, you want to make sure the door's not stuck open like this. You want this to always be closed. Sometimes that could cause your dome light to be on and could kill your battery. So you come out to your vehicle in the morning and it won't start. Another thing to do is put it in manual mode. So the automatic doesn't work anymore. You just have to close it by hand. Just make sure it's always closed. How you do that, right here in the overhead console, there's a switch that turns it on. Just push the off side, leave it off. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe to our channel. Make sure you ring that bell, turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of our videos.